Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Good to see everyone. Welcome. My name's Michael Levy. I am the treasurer on the Board of Trustees. And I have a couple hundred announcements, and then we will get into the service. This Sunday, the Hanukkah and Holiday Bazaar begins at 9:15 here in the social hall. A half hour before that, we're naming the social hall on behalf of Gary and Lynn Cantor. So before the bazaar starts, if people could show up and honor the Cantors, we're dedicating and naming the social hall after them. Additionally, on Sunday morning, Pamela Henderson is hosting a free class with coffee from 9:30 to 11:30 in the CNT multi-purpose room. She'll talk about Hanukkah and the story of Hannah and her 7 sons. That woman had a lot of work. This holiday season, make a donation to JFSA. Sisterhood will be collecting toiletries, blankets, socks, coats, and there will be a collection box in the CNT lobby until Sunday, December 11th. CNT's next senior program takes place on Thursday, December 8th at 12 noon. You can register on the website to get more details on the senior program. Our Hanukkah family Shir Shabbat and Laki dinner takes place Friday, December 16th, starting at 6:15. Please register on the website to attend. On Sunday, December 18th at 6, you can watch CNT's Shabbatones and the youth choir perform at the Hanukkah lighting in the district. And on Wednesday, December 21st at 5:15, you could hear CNT's junior cantors and Cher Hart perform at the Hanukkah lighting in downtown Summerlin. The next CNT film, Shavara, will host a movie Wednesday, December 21st. You can find out more details on the website. Cantor will announce. I won't give it away. Want to announce?
Well, not yet.
Okay. CNT is adding an infant program for babies 8 weeks and older, and it's a Gary and Lynn Cantor Early Childhood Education Center. For more information, you can look on the website. Also, we receive emails every other day, the bulletin. You can read the bulletin, you can look on the website and see all the things I just mentioned. Shabbat Shalom.
All right, Cantor, what do you think? Well, let's see if they were paying attention. Who can name one thing Michael mentioned? Raise your hand. Come on. One thing. Good. What happens before the bazaar? All right. This hall has not been named in 15 years. This is a big deal, folks. So come to the bazaar. Come to honor the Cantors. Name one more thing. Come on. Come on. Go. All right. One more thing. Yeah. Oh, well, actually an infant program as part of the preschool. That's excellent. All right, you guys, you've been paying attention. You did a great job. That means every week you get to do the now. You didn't mumble, you were clear. But guess what? There is more. Now, Cantor, there is this rumor that you might be singing in a prominent place. Is that true?
Anywhere I sing is prominent.
Oh, pardon me.
I was just kidding.
What is that, a slam? What is that?
I mean, it's the Dollar Loan Center, so it's pretty
Dollar
cool.
Loan Center. I
Prominent
thought you were going to say synagogue.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
exactly.
Yeah, if you're in this room, you're prominent.
Okay, so Dollar Loan Center. Who plays at the Dollar Loan Center? Silver Knights. When's the game?
On December 22nd, it is I don't remember which night of Hanukkah it is, like the 4th or something. 5th?
What night of week?
It's a Thursday night, the 22nd, 7 p.m. game. We have a block of seats if you want to purchase tickets to be at the game, and I'll be singing the national anthem. It should be a really fun night. It's a nice way to spend that night of Hanukkah. And we're going to be lighting the Hanukkah prior to the game outside of the Dollar Loan Center.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Pretty cool.
Is really good. Mm-hmm. So if they want to get the blocks, What do they have to call the temple? What do they do?
There is a link that was posted, that it's been in our emails and it's on the website that you just click on it and it'll take you to the Silver Knights website and you can pick your seats there.
All right. I'm not going to, that's pretty good. I'm singing at the Golden Knights, though, but, you know.
Well, they offered me a thing too,
Yeah,
but they said when the Golden Pipes is done, because he sings every week. So.
Yeah, I'm at the Golden Knights. I mean, there isn't going to be anyone there, but they let me stand there and sing. Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right, well,
It's pretty good.
lame joke. Okay, all right, now I understand this morning you were at Thurman White. It was back to your past. What was going on at Thurman White?
I went back to middle school because they realized I didn't finish my education.
No,
just kidding.
for real, what'd you do?
I had the honor of speaking in the theater class this afternoon about Jewish rituals, Jewish symbolism, Jewish values, to get them ready for their upcoming production of Fiddler on the Roof.
Which is, well, that's pretty cool.
It was very cool. Thanks to Magnolia for pushing her teacher to have me come and help the kids. And I think it was a great idea because I said, if you're comfortable, by a show of hands, who is Jewish? And 3 of them raised their hand. There were 70 kids in the class.
Were the 3 who raised their hand actually Jewish?
2 of them are congregants here, and 1 wasn't here, so yes. Or wasn't there. And then I asked, has anybody in this room, like, who in this room has really no idea about Judaism? Like, they know the name, but they don't really know anything affiliated with it. And the rest of the room raised their hands. A few of them had been to a bar mitzvah. And I realized it was really important that I was in that space because
really
they were
good.
doing a show in a week where they're going to represent all of our values.
So the sad thing is, what the kids know about Judaism?
Nothing.
The word anti-Semitism, right? Because that's been in the news over and over and over again. So we need to show them the positive things about Judaism. We have to show our own kids about the positive stuff, don't you think? So you did a real mitzvah. Next Friday after services, instead of a traditional sermon during services, we're going to gather for an adult education program. If all goes well, I'm going to have some interesting clips from the media that could be anti-Semitic, maybe not. We'll talk about we'll talk about dinner with strangers or not so strangers. We'll talk about comedy or maybe not so funny. So plan on staying after services next Friday. All right, a lot going on. All right, do we have any time for services?
I don't think so. I think we covered it.
Okay. Well, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. All right. Well, what do we have, Eddie? We have...
We're going to sing a new song.
All right.
It's not so new, but we're going to sing it.
All right. Shir Chadash. Here we go.
Page 131. Shiru Adonai, Shiru, Shir Chadash, Shiru, Shiru Adonai, Shir Chadash, Shiru Adonai, Kol transition to the lighting of the Shabbat candles, we ask Maggie Wertheimer to have the honor of lighting the Shabbat candles up on our bima in honor of her birthday that is coming up in a couple of weeks, as it is birthday Shabbat, and her dad being the speaker tonight. Where did she go? Is she here? Did she leave? Oh, there she is. She's making a grand entrance. The Shabbat bride. Come on up. She's been to 432 services. We're on page 120. So for some of us who are guests here, welcome. Our prayer book opens from right to left. We have the prayer on the right side of the page and some transliteration on the left side of the right page, translation below it, and interpretations on the left part of the page. Our guests are part of Dr. Shirley Bratbauer's class from Nevada State College. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light.
We continue on page 124. We enter this sanctuary to welcome Shabbat, for within these walls we sit surrounded by numberless generations. Our ancestors built the synagogue as a visible sign of God's presence. Throughout our long history and our endless wanderings, it has endured. Its presence guided our ancestors to lives of righteousness, holding up to them a vision of their truest selves. Now we, in our turn, come into this sanctuary to affirm the sacredness of our lives. May we enter this place in peace. May holiness wrap around us as we cross its threshold. Weariness, doubt, is within our hearts, the harshness of the weak, but these drop away in the sword. In the brightness of Shabbat, let peace settle upon us as we lift our hearts in prayer. Page 138 for L'Chadodi.
Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad Yishmi'anu el hamiuchad Adonai echad u'shmo echad l'shem u'tiferet Velitila kevod Adonai, alayich nigla. Yai lai lai, yalalala lecha dodi. Yalalala likrat kala. Yalalala penei Shabbat, penei Shabbat nekabela. We rise to greet the Shabbat bride, verse 9. Boi v'shalom, ateret bala, gam besimcha, uvtzola, toch emunei, am segula. Boi chala, boi chala. Yai lai lai, yalalala lecha dodi. Yai likrat kala. Yalalala penei Shabbat, penei Shabbat nekabe. Yalalala lecha dodi. Yalalala likrat kala. Yalalala penei Shabbat, penei Shabbat nekabela. We remain standing for the Baruch Hu, page 146. Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Barechu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach le'olam va'ed. Ya la 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 la. Ya 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 la 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 la.
As we turn the page 149, we read together, "This is an hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over?"
Baruch atah Adonai hamari v'ravi.
We turn the page. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear,
Teach
me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery.
Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. I'd like our B'nai Mitzvah students to come forward to help lead the Shema and Be'ahavta. You can come forward if you are becoming a bar or bat mitzvah in the next year, or you have become a bar or bat mitzvah in the past year.
Look, one for both of you. No. Please, no. Here. Oh, look, Sophie. Here, you take it. No, I think so. Should take it. It will. No. Okay.
Israel, our nice God, our nice one. That is God's glorious majesty forever and ever. Please be seated.
Thank you. No. Ve'avta na'alecha bechol nefshecha bechol nafshecha v'kol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher Elohim mitzvatecha hayom alevanecha v'shinatam levanecha v'dibartam v'shitecha v'eidecha v'uvletecha v'derech v'shachtecha v'kumecha v'shartam le'ot v'levetecha v'hayu letotafot beinenecha v'taftam al mezuzot beitecha v'visharecha leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai nidchem tidoshim Elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etem me'eretz Mitzrayim le'ot lahem Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem emet. Don't go too far. I'm going to call you up for you. So go ahead and have a seat back there. Seat back there. Just follow up. Oh, back. Go that way. I'm going to call you up for you.
Oh, teenagers. So we concluded our prayers of love and gratitude for God, and we moved to our prayer celebrating freedom. Page 158, Michamocha. Adonai, mi kamocha nedar bakodesh, nora tehilot, o sefele. Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar bakodesh, nora tehilot, oh, say, who is like you? Who is like Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up, waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukkot shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim.
A thought has blown the marketplace away. There is a song on the wind and joy in the trees. Shabbat arrives in the world, scattering a song in the silence of the night. Eternity utters a day.
We turn to page 162. We call back up our friends from the B'nai Mitzvah class. We also call up anyone that wants to help lead this, that might know it, if you're a little younger than these guys. You want to come up here, Marietta? All right. So this part of our service is a little silly, but for good reason. So we have a little dance. If you haven't been to a bar bat mitzvah here, you may not know this one. I decided to throw it up into Friday night because we don't have a bar mitzvah tomorrow. So it has a fun dance that goes like this. You guys all know it? Here you go. Yismechu v'malechutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat v'korei on. You can learn it on the spot. I'm teaching the whole congregation here. All right, you guys can demonstrate from your seats. Okay, so the thing is, it's more fun for them to watch you than it is for you to watch them. Here's my promise. Because this is about the joy of Shabbat, if you do this silly dance, you will feel better in 3 minutes than you do right now. That is my promise, okay? So, I want to see everybody doing it. Did you get it? Should we do it one more time? You think you got it? One more time. Yismechu v'malechutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Pretty simple. You're going to do it 8 times. Okay, I think they're ready. Yismechu v'malechutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Mekadeshei shevi Shabbat kulam yisbehu v'yitangu mitu v'chol Shabbat. Here we go. Yismechu v'malechutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. V'hashvi ratzita bo v'kidashta Shabbat chemdat yamim oto karata Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Zecher l'maaseh v'reshit Shabbat. Zecher l'maaseh v'reshit Shabbat. Last 2 times, give it your all. Yismechu v'malechutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. See, you feel a little more joyful, a little bit better. It's true, right? Gave you a little bit of a pep in your step. I don't know how it does it. It's so silly, but it works.
Just like our ancestors imagined it.
You know Chabad does it every Friday night around their dinner table.
Oh, they do?
Chabad of Henderson does, yeah.
Oh, well, then that makes it kosher.
It is. We are trending. The Reform movement is trending.
All right. 164, 165, please rise for the tefillah. Pray as if everything depended on God. Act as if everything depended on you.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim v'Konei Hakol, v'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, u'mevii geula livnei v'neihem, leman shemo be'ahava, melech ozer u'Mashiach u'Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Bezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei Hakol, Atah Rov Le'Hoshia, Mashiv Haruach u'Morid Hagashem, Mechakel Chayim Bechesed, Mechayei Hakol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Bagevurot, Umido Melach, Melech Memit, Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman Hatal HaChayot HaKol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol. Atah Kadosh v'Shimcha Kadosh, U'Kadoshim b'chol yom Yehalucha Selah. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. We continue in silent prayer through page 180, using the words on the right or the left side of the page or the words within your heart. When you have completed your prayers, please be seated.
power of prayer is to connect us through to the divine in us, to the hope that sometimes need to be drawn out of us in periods of time when hopelessness seems to engulf ourselves. We find this to be especially true when we recite the Misha Berach. Not a magical incantation that changes a sick person to a healthy person, and yet there is a power and a majesty in saying it to acknowledge what is and what we hope will change. And so when we recite Misha Berach, it's to bring that power of hope, the power of love and healing, to reaffirm within ourselves that in a period of time when our loved ones are sick and we look at them wondering what can we do, what should we do, we know that we cannot shield from them the love that we have inside. And so we think of those whose names have been submitted to us, and then we'll share the names of people who are personal to us, and perhaps those who are online would like to submit a name in the chat, and Cantor will read the name. We think especially of Bessie de la Millera, Jean-Marc Chaubert, Logan Knapp, the Knapp family, Yirmiyahu Ben Sarah, Ed Gorelik, Mindy Backrack, Dennis Durbin, Barbara Bernstein, Sarah Devora Bat Miriam, Shirley Weiss, Karen Murko, Jeff Murko, Paul Schiffman. I always think of my sister Dina. And if you'd like to share a name, please stand and say their name. Debbie?
Gail Simon, Kathy Redkey, Michael Bass, Barbara Bernstein, Dan Barcel, Karen Jacobs,
And so as we think of all these and so many others as part of our circle of family and friends, we join together in our Misha Berach prayer.
page 371.
Of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misheberach imotenu mikor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
All right.
Well, it's time to celebrate birthdays for November and December. So if you are celebrating in either of those 2 months, please come on up.
What about if you're celebrating a birthday, like you gave birth on that day in that month? Does that count?
For tonight it does.
Okay.
Come on up.
Since the birthday boy isn't here.
What are you talking about? Emmett? Not yet, not yet, not yet, not yet. All right, don't be bashful. Come on, come on, come on. All right, when is your birthday?
Sunday.
Sunday. You know what? We're going to have a whole bazaar in your honor. That's right. That's great. Debbie,
December 24th.
December 24th. So what day is Sunday? 4th. All right. So 4th?
24th.
Mine was November 3rd.
November 3rd. You're over there. All right. Bill,
I need to go over there on November 10th.
November 10th. Ooh, a day from Veterans Day. Okay.
November 9th.
November 9th. And all your students came here to celebrate your birthday. Okay, good. And
November 11th.
all right, over there. Bobby just had a big birthday. Mazel tov.
Thank you. It was November 28th.
November 28th. All right, you're over there with the Novembers. And Maggie,
December 16th.
December 16th. The same, oh, she said the same day as the Boston Tea Party. We all knew that. Of course. All right, Cal.
December 31st.
December 31st. All right. All right. Well, listen. This is pretty amazing. I want you to just think for a moment and share, if you would like, an amazing lesson that you've learned in life. All right? If you want to pass, that's okay. An amazing lesson you learned about life and all your amazing years on this earth.
Yeah, why are you picking on me? We're going down the line. Okay, amazing lesson I've learned in life is that sometimes the best family is a family that you choose to have.
Amazing lesson. It's a simple one. Just keep going. Put one foot in front of the other.
All right. Very good.
That's a good lesson. Have a good family.
Don't let go of your dreams.
And I have been blessed with health and the love of my parents and have had a very fortunate 90 years.
90 years. Kanahora, that's right.
Value the people around you.
Enjoy your opportunities.
Just love life because you never know what's going to happen after that. I mean, you never know what's going to happen.
Cherish your friends.
Very good. Beautiful life lessons. And Bobby, you have a distinction. We're going to put in a plug. Besides turning 90, what other distinction in Las Vegas Jewish community do you have?
You tell them.
The first Jewish baby born in Las Vegas, Bobby. How's that? Her first word was oi. All right. And she wrote a book about her life, and one of the famous people she met was Jack Benny. So ask her about that. Yeah. Well, no, that's pretty famous. In fact, he used to play just for her. You'll hear about that during the Oneg. All right. So when was Emmett born?
November 13th.
Are you sure?
Pretty sure.
All right, you hesitated there for a moment.
I was like, what are you asking?
All right. Would the congregation please rise? Del, go ahead. You have learned so much in life, lessons that seem simple or perhaps more complex than we realize. But in their complexity and in their simplicity, they are enduring. And so we're proud to learn from you, but most of all, we're excited to be here with you to celebrate your birthdays. And what we hope that you know is not just tonight, but always, that you are loved and blessed and cherished for who you are, and that there are people on this earth who admire you and are glad that you are part of their lives. And so the cantor and I extend these words of blessing to you.
Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May Lord God bless you and keep
Yair Adonai
May the Lord God cause the light of his countenance to shine upon you and be gracious unto you.
יישא אדוני פניו אליך וישם לך שלום.
May the Lord God grant you long life, happiness, and peace always. And let us say, Amen. All right, little Simon Tov, Mazel Tov, everyone.
Simon Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simon Tov, Simon Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simon Tov, Simon Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simon Tov. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Lecho
Mazel Tov. Mazel Tov, everyone. Happy birthdays. Josh, come on up. Please be seated. Well, instead of a traditional sermon tonight, we're going to hear about a very special program. Established in 2015, the Alan and Judy Bachman Foundation created a sister city relationship between Las Vegas and the Ramat HaNegev region in Israel's Negev desert. It was Ben Gurion who said the future of Israel is going to be in the Negev, and that's where David Ben Gurion is buried to this day, because that was an undisputed territory. No one was fighting over the ability to live in the desert, and amazing things are happening there. Each year, the Las Vegas Jewish community chooses several young adults for an incredible 10-day mission to Ramat HaNegev. That's the name of that region in the southern part of Israel, which is followed by a similar mission of young Israelis to Las Vegas. Since Alan Bachman passed in 2021, Lawrence and Joanne Davis, we wish them Shabbat Shalom, they're watching online, have continued to increase mission participation and deepen the ties between Las Vegas and the region. And Alan Mann, raise your hand. Alan, where are you? Alan's over there. They are passing the baton to Alan, and so he is building upon what Lawrence and Joanne have done. And I have gone, they had a leader's mission, so I've been there. They welcome me and my colleagues in town with an amazing tour of a city and the things that are happening. This is trivia. Cherry tomatoes invented in Israel, Ramat HaNegev. Would you believe it? So they have a whole agricultural program. The kids were going to high school from miles around, and they were just in the process of building a high school. Josh saw that high school. I'm sure he'll talk about it. But there just are amazing things happening because like 5,000 people live in this region of miles and miles of sand, and yet they're doing amazing things. So Josh, with your own eyes, you got to see firsthand what's happening. So we're going to look through your eyes and learn through your words. Welcome to the Bima.
Thank you, Rabbi. I thought you were going to take my whole speech. I just wanted to say cherry tomatoes. Okay. Can you see this map up here? You can see the map where this region right here, and then this is the cutout of it. So you can see that south of Beersheba. I didn't know how this is going to turn out on this thing. I would have picked something that's going to be a little more contrasting. But are you able to see this? At least a little bit, maybe? If not, please look it up. It's worth seeing because I was supposed to start by saying Shabbat Shalom. I'm Josh Wertheimer. I'm the current president of the men's club. We call it the men's club here at Ner Tamid. And I'd like to take this opportunity to invite all of the men that are members of our synagogue to please join the men's club. We're making a bunch of latkes for the holiday bazaar this Sunday, and we could use your help, either preparing latkes or purchasing and eating latkes. So thank you for that introduction, Rabbi. And thank you to Alan Mann, who gave me a call this spring and invited me to go on this trip to Israel. Could you raise your hand if you've ever been on a tour of Israel? Okay, so some of us. If you haven't been to this trip to Ramat HaNegev, I can guarantee you your trip was not like my trip. Our trip did not include all of the same sites like a typical trip to Israel includes. Our trip, while we did go see the Kotel and we did go see the old city of Jerusalem, we took a little tour of Tel Aviv one day, and we made it to Masada and to the Dead Sea. But most of our trip was spent in Ramat HaNegev, this region that's highlighted on the map. The region of Ramat HaNegev is 22% of the land mass of Israel, and houses, they've grown. They're up to 10,000 Jews that live in Israel. It's interesting because they have a very modest growth plan. They plan to grow to 50,000 Jews in the Ramat HaNegev region in the next 30 years. So they send Jews from Las Vegas. The Bachman Foundation sends Jews from Las Vegas to Israel. And it's not unlike other trips in the sense that Jews are sent to Israel to go connect with the land, to connect with the people. But what's different about this trip is that they also send Jews here. So Israel sends a contingent, a delegation of about 10 Jews to the United States every year so that the Jews of Israel are able to connect with our way of life. You might be surprised to find out that in Israel, there's really two types of Judaism. There's Orthodox, which, raise your hand if you're familiar with Orthodox. Are you familiar? Okay, so they're the most strict following. I wouldn't want to even say strict. It's not really fair to they're more of a top-down group, right? Like the rabbis determine how they're going to practice, and versus Reform Jews, where the rabbi guides us and the cantor guides us, but we get to choose for ourselves how we want to practice our religion. But so in Israel, you're either an Orthodox Jew or you're a secular Jew, and so the secular Jews there still practice Judaism. They still go and celebrate holidays, but they don't have the luxury of having a synagogue group like we have a synagogue group. They just have a whole community around them. Everybody's a Jew there. It's really amazing to be in a place where you're in the majority and you're not at a JFSA event. So one of the sites that we saw, well, maybe I should back up just for a second. We were a contingent, so we're getting started after, you said we started in 2015, and then there was the COVID time, and now we're getting started again, and typically they send about 8 people there and 8 people back, and our group was only 4. I was with 3 other people, and we were a small enough group that we stayed, we stayed in a little Airbnb, a 2-bedroom Airbnb. I was lucky enough to have my own room as the only male, and I also have my own bathroom, luckily. And one of the neat things about being such a small group is that we didn't travel by a tour bus or by a giant coach. We traveled in a Toyota Camry, and we were together for 24 hours a day other than when we moved off to go to our beds. So on one of the tours that we took in Ramat HaNegev, we went to a bunch of different neighborhoods, and the neighborhoods all have names. They're all Hebrew names, and I could expand on it, but the rabbi only gave me a few minutes. So if you want to talk more about it in the Oneg, I'll be glad to discuss further. But so one of the places that we went to is a neighborhood that is, they're trying to bridge the gap between secular and Orthodox communities. So they're living side by side. They've set up and established rules so that they're going to live together. They've decided that it's important to the people that are living there that have decided to move to this community that they're going to have Orthodox living in the same community as secular Jews. And so what this means is compromise. You can't light a fire on Shabbat. Like now, as an Orthodox Jew, you wouldn't turn on or off the lights. So the secular Jews that don't practice like this, they're not able to light their campfires as part of the compromise on Shabbat. But then in turn, the secular Jew wanted to have a bat mitzvah for their child. And one of the neat things that the person that was talking to us about our community said was it was never a question of if this was going to happen. It was only a question of how it was going to look. When they decided to live there together, they decided to live there together. And they were going to find a way to make it work. Speaking of bonfires, we made our first group of friends on the first night. We went to another religious community and we had poike bowls. Are you familiar with poike? Poike? It's a South African stew that's cooked over a campfire. It's really popular in Israel. It's very, very good. I'm trying to find one of those machines so I can take it camping with me. It's I think they call it it's some kind of a cast iron pot. I'm sure Jeremy knows what it is. Dutch oven, that's the word I'm looking for, Dutch oven. But so while we were there and I was talking to making friends with the people that had invited us into their home and prepared dinner for us. And this is another Orthodox community that we were in. And so I was talking to this lady about how my daughter was just bat mitzvahed a year ago. And she was like, wow, like your daughter read from the Torah. And I said, yeah, she did. Have you ever read from the Torah? And she said, well, I have, but only like in a book. I didn't do it through a scroll. But she had the opportunity, she said. It was important to her the book meant meaning for family heirloom, so she wanted to read from this particular book. But she said, I'm really anxious to come to your synagogue because I want to see what Judaism looks like when it's not the Orthodox religion that I've been seeing my whole life. We've just started in the last month. It's actually the biggest hubbub in the community right now, is that they've started a male and female pray together minyan one Saturday a month in a private home. And so as you can imagine, there's some people that are really against that in their community. And then there's some people that are really in favor of it. And then there's the people that are making it happen. But it's really interesting to see all of the compromise and the finding a way to make the religion work. So then we went to an agriculture center that I don't really need to talk a lot about because the rabbi talked a little bit about these tomatoes and they're making strawberries and they're finding ways to irrigate all of these crops in the desert. And it's really fascinating when you think about a place. Their desert looks a lot like our desert, but it's still a little different. There's really not a lot of water. We have shrubs in our desert. They don't have a lot of shrubs. They have a lot of sand and not a lot of vegetation in their desert. They've created a pipeline of fresh water that's desalinated from one of the seas. It's either the Mediterranean or the Red Sea. I'm not really sure. But the way that one of the things that they learned at this desert research center was that they have a giant aquifer of brackish water. So they can't drink this brackish water, but they've learned how to irrigate crops with salty water. And what they found through their desert research center is that salty water actually makes for sweeter tomatoes and sweeter watermelons and more delicious pomegranates. And these are the kinds of things that they're learning in their research center. The regional council, the lady, yeah, she told us, this is really important, I don't want to miss it. This lady told us, she said, the desert is a place for innovation. You have to be innovative if you're going to live in the desert. And then another man, the guy Jared White, who is the liaison, he works for the regional council, he said, if we want something here, we have to build it. We have to design it, we have to create it. It's not here for us. A lot like the liturgy that just said, praise if everything depends on God, but act as though everything depends on you. They have to depend on themselves to find ways to make things happen. They're building this community. That school that the Rebbe was talking about, it really was fantastic. I'm a school teacher, and I've been to a handful of schools in my life, and I would love for my kids to go to this school. This school, when you walk in this place, there's hardly any classrooms. The kids spend most of their time learning outside. They found a way to learn engineering and mathematics through robotics and programming. These kids have learned how to, they're doing their book reports through podcasting. They're responsible for any kind of improvements to be made to the school. They made this school, if you believe it or not, without a cafeteria. The kids decided they wanted a cafeteria, and the principal said, okay, that sounds good. Figure out how to build it. You got this much space. You've got this budget. And while we were there, we were seeing the tables that they had started to build for their cafeteria that they wanted. it's really awesome to see that. So we took daily tours. We had coffee and lunch with people. We made new friends at dinner time. The people were unbelievably hospitable. Two of the people that were traveling with me, they have gluten allergies and milk issues, and they were always accommodated at every single meal. Somebody made them fresh bread for Shabbat. Somebody made bread and all of these items. They didn't have to do that, but they did that. They wanted us to feel welcome, and they wanted us to feel important. And that's a really neat thing. When you talk about building community and audacious hospitality, we got to experience it. And I can't wait until I get the opportunity to show them our town and to show them all the innovations that we can show off from our community. We're really lucky to have a fantastic community. And our community that we have here that we get to show off, it's also really new. And so I would invite you, just like I'm inviting myself, to try to find ways to get involved in this community. And when we take a look and we recognize that there's some kind of a deficiency, something here that we don't have, something here that we need or want, some way to pitch in, I hope that you'll answer the call. I know I'm trying to. Specifically, one of the things that Michael Levy mentioned was this JFSA. And the JFSA does a lot of really great work. That just started in the 1970s, so it's very recent. And right now they're having a mitzvah menorah, a little way to give back to kids that aren't going to otherwise have a great Hanukkah. And if maybe you'll consider finding a way to give back to this JFSA, or if you can't do that, find some other way to give in to our community, whatever's going to work for you, because we're really lucky to have this great community. I know that me personally have gotten more from this synagogue and more from this Jewish community than I could ever possibly give to it. So I want to extend another huge thank you to Alan for making that call to me. If you didn't know, Alan is also the chair of our Yom Kippur Kol Nidre appeal, so be careful if you answer the phone. But if he does call you to go on this trip, you want to go on this trip. It is really fantastic and fabulous. Thank you to Lawrence and Holly and Joanne Davis for putting this together, for get back going again, and for having the confidence in me to be able to go on this trip. I feel very, very fortunate and very lucky. Thank you to the rabbi and to the cantor for giving me this opportunity to talk to you. I know that this is a very big week in anti-Semitism, and I know that y'all wanted to talk. And so thank you very much for letting me be here. With that, I'll be glad to answer any more questions that you might have. I'd be glad to expand. I could talk about this all day, but I can tell I'm starting to put you all to sleep. So thank you very much. Shabbat Shalom, and I look forward to talking to you soon.
Josh, thank you for sharing your thoughts, and I'm glad you had a wonderful, wonderful experience. I'm going to put Alan on the spot. So Alan and I and the cantor, we put our heads together trying to select people for this trip. Alan, can you just explain in a nutshell how a person qualifies for this trip? How long is the trip? It's 10 days? Okay. 25 to 40, 10-day trip usually occurs what time of year? Around the fall. Pretty simple, okay? So hopefully Josh has inspired a few of you here to lie about your birthday, or to speak to Alan or myself or Cantor about attending this. Thank you so much, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. Cantor, leave it off to you.
We're going to begin to conclude our service on page 586. It is upon us to make a change. Please rise.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, latet gedula liotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kegoye haratzot, velo samanu kemishpechot adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, vigor aleinu kechol hamonam, vanachnu korim, ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
If there is anyone you are thinking of tonight for Kaddish, you are remembering in recent days they've been lost, or this is the anniversary of their death, please submit their names in the chat at this time. Please be seated, page 598.
So we say Kaddish for those who have died in recent days. We think of Bill Watson, Joan Wolberg, Clarice Famblett, Ellen Wertheimer Bray, Martin Kofener, Karen Sander, Christopher Fotig, George. And we recall the yahrzeits of Lori Alberton, Dan Barcel, Benjamin Brown, Saul DeValley, Bertha Ellis, Kenneth Enton, Adele Epstein.
Edmund Frank, Stanley Freeman, Louis Gale, Lillian Goldberg, Helen Golovner, Anna Green, Robert Hayes, Sarah Height, Ken Jensen, Mickey Johnson.
Benjamin Liebman, Sina Lubcher, Louis Marr, Charles Maurer, Alan Myers, Brian Polovina, Michael Radojevic, William Rochford, Irving Reutman, Barry Roman, Joseph Smoller.
Betty Ratner, Trubenbach, Howard Waltman, Shirley Waxler.
There are others whose name was not mentioned, but you'd like to say their name for Kaddish or Yortzeit. Stand and say their name, please. Thank you. Online.
Jamie Amando, Richard Miller, Anita Tucci, Lena Cranston.
So we rise now, 598, as we join together in Kaddish. Together, Yit Gadol v'Yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, v'Alma Divrach Hirutei v'Amlich Malchutei, v'Chayechon v'Yomechon v'Chayedechol Be'Yisrael, Magalav Zman Kari v'Yimru Amen, Yeheshmei Rabbah Mevorach le'olam Omeil Maya, Yit Barach v'Yishtabach v'Yit Pa'ar v'Yit Ramam v'Yit Naseh, V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekusha brichu leila min kol birata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'ram b'alma v'yimru amen Yeheshlam araba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen Osei shalom b'mramav hu yasei shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel, to which we say, Amen. May be seated. So you're all aware that we've been involved in this Torah project. We have actually filled all of our slots, and on Monday, the scribe is coming out, and the people who have been sponsoring a part of this Torah are going to be writing their letters in a specific time period. If you say, oh my God, I really wanted to do this and I didn't get the call, but I really want to do it, we can adjust the schedule slightly. Just see Ed Simon, our executive director. This is it. You want to sign the letter this Monday. We may have another time, maybe, but I wouldn't count on it. So try to make it this Monday. It's from 12 to 8 p.m. at specific times. But that's pretty cool that we signed up almost all the slots. So it's very, very good. Cantor, who do we have for Kiddush and Motzi?
I think we should bring the birthdays back up.
The birthdays?
Yeah.
We gave them so much attention. All right, we'll bring them up. Come on, all you birthdays. Come on up, come on up. And the children in religious school, come on up.
I don't know if we have that many cups, but we can share. And God blessed the Sabbath day and made it holy. Al kain berach Adonai et yom haShabbat vayikadshehu baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei puri hagafen. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Amotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. All right. We close with an Oseh Shalom, written in Israel in honor of Josh's trip by Nava Tehillah. Oseh Shalom. May there be peace on earth for all of us.
Oseh shalom b'promav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, Amen. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Hey, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Oseh shalom b'promav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, Amen. Ve'imru, Amen.
Shabbat Shalom. Please enjoy the oneg in our social hall. We can enter. Are we entering that way? Entering through these back doors. Have a wonderful Shabbat and join the Rabbi for Torah study at 8:45 online. Shabbat Shalom.